Have you ever gotten home from a cruise and immediately thought, wish I'd known about that before I sailed? Not the obvious stuff like packing cubes or magnetic hooks. Everybody talks about those. I'm talking about those weird little gadgets that almost nobody thinks about until you use one once. Then suddenly, you'll never cruise without it again. Today, I'm sharing 10 Amazon cruise finds that I think deserve way more attention in 2026. Some are brand new and some have been around for a while, but somehow have completely flown under the radar. I'll also throw in one shameless plug that honestly has saved us from forgetting more cruise details than I'd like to admit. If you enjoy practical cruise tips instead of clickbait, hit that subscribe button because every week we're helping you cruise smarter, not just spend more money. And if you're planning a cruise right now, check out our video on our biggest cruise packing mistakes after you're done with this one. Okay, let's dive in. We'll start with what is quickly becoming the hottest cruise accessory of the year, the Anti-Nausea Writstband. Even seasoned cruisers eventually have that one sailing where Mother Nature reminds everyone who's really in charge. And when seasickness strikes, it can turn an amazing vacation into a week spent wishing you'd never see another wave again. In the past, we've recommended these acupressure motion sickness bands. They're inexpensive, they don't require medication, and surprisingly, they are actually very effective for most people. The idea is simple. The wristband has a small button that applies pressure to a specific acupressure point on your wrist that's believed to help reduce nausea. Now there's something that takes that concept a step further. The Imatherm Anti-Nausea Wristband. Instead of simple pressure, it uses something called TEAS technology, transcutaneous electrical acupoint stimulation. The goal is targeted neuromodulation that helps interrupt nausea signals before they become overwhelming. Clinical studies published in the British Journal of Anesthesia found it reduced nausea in up to 85% of participants. Like most motion sickness remedies, it works best when you put it on 20 to 30 minutes before symptoms begin. Here's what may be the biggest advantage. If you've avoided Dramamine or Bonine because you don't like feeling groggy, this could be a genuine game changer for your next cruise. This one made me wonder why nobody thought of it years ago. A magnetic, rechargeable cruise fan. Portable cabin fans aren't exactly new. Plenty of cruisers pack one because cabin airflow isn't always amazing. But this magnetic version? It's genius. Instead of sitting on the desk blowing air at your suitcase, it sticks directly to the cabin wall. Better yet, it can even attach to the ceiling. That means cool air exactly where you want it while you're sleeping without sacrificing valuable counter space. And if you've ever stayed in an interior cabin, you already know every square inch counts. The rechargeable battery is another nice touch. You don't have to keep it plugged in, so you can place it wherever works best, instead of wherever there's an outlet. These have only been around for a year, and honestly, this feels like one of those products that 5 years from now, people will wonder how they ever cruised without. My next pick is something a lot of cruisers don't even think about packing. After all, who's worried about bugs when you're spending most of your vacation in the middle of the ocean? But the moment you step off the ship for a shore excursion, that changes. Mosquitoes in Alaska, black flies in Canada, tiny sandflies throughout the Caribbean. For years, we've sworn by a picaridin-based insect repellent. Rather than killing insects, picaridin makes it much harder for mosquitoes and other biting bugs to detect you by interfering with the chemical cues they use to find people. And unlike DEET, it won't melt plastics or synthetic fabrics, and it's safer for your skin. It also plays nicely with sunscreen, so you don't have to worry about it interfering when you're applying both before heading ashore. The only downside? Most bottles are designed for your backyard, not your carry-on. That's where Tongo comes in. They make a picaridin-based insect repellent in convenient 1-ounce travel bottles that are TSA-friendly and easy to slip into a backpack, purse, or even your pocket. It's one of those things you hope you never need, but when everyone else is swatting mosquitoes, you'll be very glad you packed it. No, you probably won't be using these on the Lido deck since most cruise ships ban inflatables from the pool. But honestly, if you're struggling in the cruise ship pool, the lifeguard is probably just going to tell you to stand up. All joking aside, where these inflatable noodles really shine is during beach excursions. There's something incredibly relaxing about having a pool noodle to lean back on instead of constantly treading water. The best part is that these aren't the giant foam noodles you're picturing. They're inflatable. Inflate them when you get to the beach, enjoy them all day, then let out the air before heading back to the ship. The fabric cover makes them more comfortable than bare vinyl. It's one of those simple vacation luxuries that cost very little and can make an afternoon at the beach a whole lot more relaxing. Okay, time for our shameless plug. But There's a reason we created this. After planning countless cruises, we realized that we were keeping reservation numbers, packing lists, and excursion bookings in all different places. It was chaos. So we designed the ultimate cruise planner. It keeps every part of your trip organized from the day you book until you're unpacking at home. One of my favorite sections? The souvenir gift tracker. Because somehow there's always that one person you completely forget to buy something for until you're halfway through the airport. We designed this planner because it's exactly what we wanted for our own cruises, and it's become something we never travel without. If you'd like to check it out, I'll put a link in the description below. This one has quietly become one of our favorite cruise travel accessories. Not because cruise lines lose luggage very often, they really don't. But think about everything your suitcase goes through before it finally reaches your cabin. It travels through the airline, the baggage system, airport transfers, the cruise terminal, porters, then it's sorted and delivered to your stateroom. That's a lot of moving parts. Dropping a Bluetooth tracker inside your suitcase gives you one simple thing: peace of mind. And if your luggage gets delayed at any point, you can often see its location before the baggage handlers find it. That's pretty amazing. The best part is that it doesn't stop being useful once you're on the ship. Before heading out on a shore excursion, just move the tracker from your suitcase to your backpack or beach bag. If it gets left behind in a taxi, misplaced on an excursion, or simply ends up somewhere you didn't expect, you'll have a much better chance of finding it quickly. Hopefully, you'll never need it, but like travel insurance, it's one of those things that's invaluable on the rare occasion that you do. An outlet extender is on just about every cruiser's packing list. But these little gadgets are the hidden heroes of keeping your electronics organized. One thing you'll notice pretty quickly is that cruise cabins never seem to have outlets exactly where you want them. And once you've got your phone charger, smartwatch cable, earbuds, camera battery, and maybe a portable power bank all plugged in, it doesn't take long before you've got a tangled mess of cords. That's where these magnetic cable organizers come in. Since most cruise cabin walls are steel, they'll stick almost anywhere, making it easy to keep your charging setup exactly where you want it. No more fishing around under furniture at 11 o'clock at night because your charging cord fell for the third time. It's one of those tiny quality of life upgrades you didn't think much about before your cruise, but once you've used them, you'll probably pack them for every trip after that. This next one solves a problem every cruiser runs into. Where do you put the water bottle when you're done with it? A reusable water bottle is already a cruise essential. Staying hydrated on board and during shore excursions is important, and bringing your own bottle saves you from constantly buying drinks or carrying around disposable plastic bottles. But traditional water bottles have one big problem. They take up the same amount of space whether they're full or completely empty. That's where collapsible water bottles come in. These bottles are designed to shrink down when you're not using them, making them perfect for cruise travel. When you're packing for a trip where every inch of luggage space matters, anything that works just as well but takes up less room is a winner. This is definitely one of those, wait, that's a thing? Cruise accessories. It's a tiny case that clips right over your toothbrush head and uses UVC LED technology to help sanitize it between uses. Whether you're a germ-conscious traveler or you just like keeping your things as clean as possible, this actually makes a lot of sense for cruising. Think about the environment your toothbrush lives in for an entire week, sitting out on the counter of a small, humid, shared bathroom. Not exactly the most ideal storage situation. A toothbrush sanitizer gives you a simple way to keep the brush head covered and protected while you're traveling. What makes this one especially clever is the design. It has a magnetic mounting system so you can attach it to the steel wall of your stateroom bathroom. And the best part? These used to feel like an expensive novelty gadget, but they've become more affordable in the last few years. It's still not something you see on most cruise packing lists, which makes it one of those little accessories that can make you look like a cruise essential maven. I saved my best item for last. It's a tiny Bluetooth thermal printer. And at first glance, you might think, why would I bring a printer on a cruise? But once you see what this little gadget can do, it starts to make a lot of sense. It can print personalized daily schedules, excursion confirmations, luggage labels. But this isn't just for printing documents. You can print photos directly from your phone, create custom stickers, even make fun vacation keepsakes while you're still on board. And the best part? No ink cartridges. It uses thermal paper instead, and the photo quality is surprisingly good for something this small. What makes this one especially interesting is that it hasn't really made its way into the cruise community yet. Everyone talks about luggage tags, outlet extenders, and packing cubes, but very few cruisers are talking about tiny Bluetooth printers. Cruise packing has changed a lot over the past few years. Some of the best accessories aren't replacing the classics. They're solving problems nobody thought about before. I'd love to know about the cruise gadget you swear by that almost nobody else seems to know about. Leave it in the comments below, because I guarantee someone reading them is going to discover their next favorite cruise essential. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out our other videos on cruise cabin hacks. They all work together to help you pack smarter, spend less money on board, and enjoy your cruise with fewer surprises. And remember, whether you cruise with just the clothes on your back or you pack every trending cruise essential, adventure awaits.